All right, I'll have it bite my brother first, and we'll rip its fangs out that way.
I don't care how you do it. Just do it and show me.
Welcome to Then You Ruined It, a podcast where two friends who refuse to meet in real life give each other plenty of reasons to stick to that opinion. Part of the reason that small talk is still so enjoyable is that people change and they go through new things and they find new things. So Jason, I want to know right now, what's your YouTube hole?
I don't do that. For YouTube, I stick to my lane, which is my subscriptions, and I put those on a watch later queue, and then I'll watch all those, and rarely do I journey outside of that. I will occasionally watch a recommended like wrestling video or something, but it's still pretty much in my lane, and I don't change lanes.
Oh, see, the YouTube algorithm, I think I challenge it in new ways, because YouTube algorithm is built for people like you. They're like, this guy, he likes video games, he likes wrestling, and apparently that's it. That's all you mentioned.
I mean, that's basically it. I mean, like
old ads for the Talk Boy.
Keep bringing that up. I don't never once have watched a video about that for that reason. Because then I get nothing but. And then all the eBay listings of, hey, you can get one now for only $500. It's like, no, stop it. My wife will divorce me. She's already told me. She put it in the vows. If he buys a Talk Boy, I'm going to walk, boy.
So, I, on the other hand, I'm constantly changing lanes. I have so many lanes. YouTube algorithm can't keep up with how many lanes I got. Every once in a while, it's just like, hey, what about this lane? You want to try that? I'm like, fetch, yes. Let's do nothing but this for 4 days. And so that's how I've gotten into snake yoinking.
Is that like when they have to jerk off the horses?
I have a story about that, but that's
dear.
Probably not for you. The snake yoinking is when you see a snake and you go yoink and you pick it up.
Okay. There's a genre of YouTube videos about this?
Yeah. It's called herping for herpetology.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I call it snake yoinking, because herping sounds like you're giving people herpes up and down the continent. And that's not okay. But yoinking, you can yoink a snake. Snakes need to be yoinked.
I'm not by me.
Well, that was going to be my next question. How many snakes have you yoinked?
Literally none. There was the tiniest garden snake that was in in the backyard of our old house. And I was tempted to like pick it up for just a second just to wow the kids. And they expressly forbid me from doing that. Like, you're going to anger the snake gods. They're all going to come for us if you do that, Father. So that snake stayed unyoinked. That was really hard to say.
The unyoinkening. No, see, this is how you get your kids to not be pansies. No kid wants to see a snake get yoinked until they see their first snake get yoinked. Then you can't stop them from yoinking snakes.
How many snakes could a kid yank? I was going to make a... I don't know why I want to make a
tongue twister?
Tongue twister out of it when I can't even say anything anyway, so... Not the night for that.
Because there was a time in my life when I saw a snake, when my son was very young, and there was a little snake, and I yoinked it, and he's like, no, and I was freaking out. And then he came to peace with it, and now, I don't know if he'd yoink a snake. I'm going to have to put my son in a yoink situation. A yoinkertunity. Give him a yoinkertunity somewhere and see what happens. So, I'm a yoinker. I've yoinked many a snake. If I'm in a situation where there's a snake, I'll yoink it. I'm okay with that. I've lived my whole life in the American West where there's only one kind of poisonous snake, and it goes... So you always know which one it is. So if you're not getting that lovely noise, it's perfectly safe. So I picked up a bunch of snakes, shown them to kids, helped them get over their fear of yoinking, and, just make the world a better place. Because the less Indiana Jones we have in the world, the better we all are.
I mean, I agree with that, because I'm scared of most non-human living things. But
you fought a lizard?
No, I don't have a lizard. We get lizards in this house.
You fought a lizard.
I didn't fight it. Stupidly slapped the ground around it and acted like I was in control of this lizard. If that thing had like come at me, like if it had actually like tried to attack and become the alpha, I would still be living in that basement room down there, and it would be out here running things.
I'd be podcasting with the lizard.
Basically.
He'd probably have better stories.
It's entirely possible. He gets to run everywhere. He's all over the place. I'm in this house all the time. What is he doing? He's roaming the forest. He's seeing animals.
Walking on water. He's halfway to Jesus.
It's a weird way to describe a lizard. He's halfway to Jesus. Totally sounds like a hick way of describing animals. I don't see that lizard. He was walking on water. Halfway to Jesus he was, by way.
Yeah, that's what you call it when someone walks on water or turns water into wine. If they do both, they're full Jesus.
I mean, sure. If somebody's going to turn water into wine, I'll give them... If they just do that, I will give them the full Jesus. I'm not even going to...
Oh, you got to be more stingy with your Jesus.
Apparently I am, but I'm sorry. If I see that, I'm going to have to believe.
Anyway, so I have a Yoink story. Stay on target, Steve. Stay on target. Stay on Yoink.
Steve, you turned off your targeting computer. Listen to me. You don't have the Force.
Use the computer.
Yes.
That's what it's there for.
Seriously.
Dummy. No, I can Yoink it without it. Don't worry. So there's this one time when my whole family, extended family, we were all going whitewater rafting together. So most of my family is from Utah, but me and my immediate family grew up in Idaho. So I've always kind of, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I kind of think I'm better than everybody because I grew up in Idaho, which is the exact reason you should not think you're better than other people. And yet, here I am. So being from Idaho, I felt like I had a responsibility to these city folk from Utah to show them the true glories of nature. So as we were waiting to get on the raft, me and my brother were just kind of dorking around on the rocks, and there was a snake. And I'm like, cool, we should get the snake and show it to our cousins. And so I picked the snake. Sorry, let me use the proper term there. I yoinked the snake. I herped. And then as we're going a little further, my brother's like, oh, hey, there's another one. So I'm like, cool, let me grab that one. And so I picked that snake up. And you're like, oh, hey, there's another one. And I picked that snake up. So now I've got 3 snakes. 3 snakes is a lot of snakes. I'm managing, though. And then there's another one. I'm like, I don't think I'm a 4 snake man. Here, brother, you hold snake number 2. And he's like, okay, I got snake number 2. So I go and I pick up snake number 3, or number 4. So I've got snake 1, 3, and 4. He's got snake 2. And then we see snake 5. I'm like, awesome. That's the biggest and best one yet. I'm going to get snake number 5. Here, hold snake number 4. And he's like, I don't think I can do that. And so I turn to face my brother, and he's got snake number 2 chewing on his arm. And I'm like, oh, let it go? Like, stop. Like, obviously it doesn't, you're doing that wrong. And so he, like, lets go. The snake just kind of dangled off his arm and just kept chewing on him. Like, well, crap, what do we do? What do we do? I had to put all my snakes down. It was a very sad day for me. And so snakes 1, 3, and 4 go off on their merry way. And I'm like pulling on the snake and it won't let go of my brother. And so like, put it underwater so it has to let go. So we put his arm underwater and the snake just got its eyes like bugged out like, ah! At this point I realized, oh crap, its teeth are actually stuck into his flesh. I need to pry him off. So I had to get some sticks and like, okay, this is gonna suck for both of you, but it's the only way. And I ripped its teeth out of his flesh. He bled. The snake had a heck of a story to tell his friends, and I made a podcast.
Goodness, no thank you. And as soon as I can keep it cool for some things. And, you know, like some things surprise you. Like when my kids vomit, like I'm surprised I'm able to keep it together as much as I can to clean up that vomit. Because I'm like, they can't do this themselves. They're relying on me. Man up and do this. And I'm like, yeah, I got this. And later on I smell it. I'm like, oh my God, how did I not throw up myself? But I did it. Snake sinks its teeth into person's arm. No. I might be able to, but I don't count on me. I'm going to be the guy going that way faster than you.
You don't have to outrun the snake. You just have to outrun the person next to you.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Trip the guy next to you. Snake bait. Snake bait.
Now you're down there.
I remember
It can reach easier.
I had a girlfriend one time that had she'd just gotten a kitten, and this kitten had not had its nails, claws. That's right. I know things about animals. Just as much as I know about the human body, I know more about animals. It hadn't had its claws, like it hadn't been declawed, it hadn't had them like cut or anything like that. They were just sharp ass kitten claws. And regularly, like the first several times I was around this kitten, it would like just get its claws in her, and she would like pull them and just pull the kitten, like grab the kitten and pull it, and her skin would stretch with it as she was like pulling it because the cat was just in. And oh my gosh, I never have liked cats. I don't ever want to like cats, but man, did I hate that cat on behalf of that girl. I wanted to grab it and just chuck it across the room, just like, stop it. And like ask her, like, what's your problem? Like one time it did in her neck. That was the one that got me, because it's skin on your arms. For some reason that feels like it's not as dangerous or like delicate. Like I can cut my arm and be like, I know there's, places in your arm that you could cut, and it's like, oh well, that's never gonna stop bleeding, I'm dead. But on like the forearm, it's like, you just scratch that up. It's the place to scratch. But when it got her neck, and she's like pulling her neck out, and the skin's just like coming up, I'm like, kill it now.
Yeah, that does sound like something out of a horror movie. You get a good neck flab going.
Oh, I was not okay with that. So, Snake, like actually, like, because it was a kitten. It was mostly harmless. Snake actually wanting to do it because it wants to like save its own life, and so it might just, if it's venomous, not poisonous. If it's venomous, then that's dangerous. But otherwise, it's just a snake in your arm, which also shouldn't be there.
Couple quick corrections here for you, Jason. First off, the snake was also harmless. It wouldn't have bit us. Well, it didn't bite me. It wouldn't have bit him if we had just left it alone.
That's what I'm saying.
It was in its full right. Yeah, it was in its full right. Now, in my defense, I was managing 3 snakes, and I didn't get bit once. That's the thing I don't get about all these yoinking videos. A lot of these guys are getting bit way more than they need to be. I've never been bit. I've yoinked a lot, and I've never once been bit. My brother got bit 7 times in this one interaction.
Yes, everybody, we will be recording a podcast where eventually he yoinks and gets bitten. And yes, I will laugh for the entirety of that podcast.
Oh, if I get bit mid yoink, I'm gonna tell you. I will come clean.
Just like when you say any phrase and then add "in bed" after it gets funnier. All of these, just everybody play along at home. Every time he says yoink, just assume that's sexual, and these are so much funnier.
No. It's just picking up a snake and you go yoink.
Whenever he says mid yoink, take a drink. And laugh.
And also, yeah. So, what would it take? This is a serious question, because we already have a list of 100 things we're going to do when we finally meet. What would it take for one of those things to get you to yoink a snake?
I mean, like proof, either like I can visually or somehow that it's not poisonous, venomous, anything like that. It's also defanged for me already.
All right, I'll have it bite my brother first, and we'll rip its fangs out that way. Okay.
I don't care how you do it. Just do it and show me a video of that exact snake. Now, I don't want to see it. I don't want you to hold it up to me and show me, because that's too scary. So defanged, like you said, no rattle, no rattle. Like even if
I'm not going to give you a rattlesnake. Here's the thing: I'll yoink anything that doesn't rattle. I am definitely afraid of rattlesnakes. I don't know what it is. They give me the heebies, the jeebies, and the willies all at the same time.
I mean, it's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be afraid of that kind of snake. If you see it with the little rattling, and it's like standing up, that's not a thing to mess with. Like nature did a really good job of making sure this is an animal that says, let's leave that one alone. Everybody.
Right, yeah. And they got those devil eyes, they got the little horns on their face, and they literally shake dead parts of their body at you that they keep around as a trophy of their age. They're nasty.
They're badasses. Leave them alone. So.
Yeah, and that is why I truly respect the Roadrunner. But anyway.
It took a long way to get there, but sure, that's the point of this story.
And so now I'm going to talk about a Roadrunner.
No. We're out of time. So yeah, I defanged, not venomous, poisonous, and I was gonna say something about like the length, but I mean to get a good yoink, you probably need it to be fairly long. Otherwise,
Well,
what's the point?
I mean, it depends. Yeah, you don't want to yoink a 3-incher. I mean, that's just not satisfying
think about.
for anyone.
I'm not saying I'm gonna do this with the snake, but think about snapping a good towel. You need a good towel that you can really wind up and whoosh. If you try and do that with like a hand towel, that thing's gotta be soaking wet.
Yeah. And you don't want a soaking wet snake.
No, not well. I mean, they wouldn't mind probably, but if it slips out of my hand mid yoink, then. All right, somebody find that. I'm gonna be inside. I yoinked it. I did my part. You guys get to find it.
Okay, so next question. What would you yoink?
I mean, is this like a what would you do for a Klondike bar situation?
No, you had the chance for a Klondike bar. You could have said, what would it take for you to yoink a snake? You could have said Klondike bar. And I would have bought you a Klondike bar. But that ship has sailed. All I got to do is prove to you it's not poisonous.
And take its fangs out. Don't forget. There's two criteria here. You don't meet them both. This boy ain't yoinking.
So, what would you yoink? Would you yoink, let's say, a lizard?
I mean, their tails are usually pretty short, and the ones that aren't are like Komodo dragons, which will eat you. So, no, probably not.
Okay. What about a turtle?
Again, what do you yoink on a toidle? What do you yoink on a title? I'm getting a title yoinking.
So yoinking isn't grabbing by the tail and going woo 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 woo.
Then what are you
like
grabbing? You're grabbing its foot and just flinging it? How do you yoink a turtle?
You're not flinging anything. It is the yoink is just picking up the animal and observing and respecting it in its environment.
That's not what the word yoink sounds like to me. Yoinking is invading its space and making it angry in some way.
What would you herp then, Jason? What
I don't
do you want
herp anything.
herp?
I'm not going out herping with my best friend Steve. Going out on the town tonight. We're going to herp it up.
Herping through the countryside. Steve and Jason herping again.
We got sodas and we're going to yoink some stuff. We're herping and burping.
Okay, podcast pitch number 427. Herping and burping. We get craft sodas, and it's kind of like the podcast format where someone's afraid of horror movies and somebody's not, and they watch a horror movie together. But in this case, we're just picking up various reptiles, and we're just discussing them. It's very educational, it's got a fear element, and we get a lovely soda each week. Herping and burping could be big.
That could be like, you could have like celebrities on that, and like take them out into the wild, and we're going herping and we're burping. What's your soda of choice? So you get to talk about the soda of choice.
Yeah.
So they get to talk about that and like their history with soda, maybe what they used to drink as a kid. And the herping, I mean, that just sells itself.
Yeah. Everyone loves to watch celebrities herp.
And on the first episode, we get somebody herpes, and it's like, oh, whoops. We should have told you. I'm sorry.
Where do you want the cold sore? Because here it comes.
Oh, God. I don't know how you could purposefully and like directly give somebody a cold sore, but I don't want to know anymore.
Oh, I know exactly how you could directly give someone a cold sore. You take your cold sore, you cut it open, and you rub it.
Oh, dude. Ugh. You've ruined it.